So good morning guys, a little bit of routine returning, as you can probably tell. Kids are back at school full time, and you saw it on the weekend. You saw definitely more groups of people on bikes, bit by bit.
Sean, if you want your hat back, I'll wash it again and give it back to you. I will, truly.
Elizabeth has your hat.
But it is lovely.
You're not getting it back. You've had your chance.
Yeah, I did text you about 10 years ago.
Should we give Sean back his cap?
No.
Shawnee B. Can I cut in some footage of Shawnee B?
Stage starts at 9:20 and it is 7:50, if I can read.
He's an original. Peace out. Original Nero. One thing I just wanted to actually mention, thanks for all those comments on giving yourself positive feedback and positiveness, I suppose, on your own riding. Really appreciate that. The reason I asked you guys that question, obviously putting aside the coaching aspect for it, I was kind of being a bit selfish because, obviously we have a team of riders, a group of individual athletes, and bringing them together is a huge part of the whole team part. Positivity in riders is really important because you want to build that up. And sometimes, for me, if someone in the team had said their FTP test had gone up, I just would have gone, whatever, cool, I don't care. But clearly that is a thing that is very, very important to riders. So thank you guys, you've helped me out a bit.
One of the biggest training and riding sort of positives for me that's come out of this is this place, the M7. So I was obviously just so stuck in the routine of doing efforts on hills, like riding hard on hills, but also using Centennial. And Centennial, whilst it's been absolutely brilliant to see so many people in there, new people riding bikes, it's not a place to train on your bike anymore. So this place, the M7, which I'm finding a real challenge physically to actually do the efforts just because of the nature of it. Twists, the turns, the undulations, it's great. Yeah, so I'm just going to do some sub-threshold 40-minute stuff out here today. A little bit wet, so we've got the PSI nice and low, and see how we go, okay? So let's have a quick chat about the sub-threshold effort while I do it here on the M7, and we can just talk about the location here as well. So a sub-threshold effort it's essentially sort of 90% of your threshold. Some people could term it like a higher end of a sweet spot effort, but it's really kind of in that zone. It's in an annoying zone where it hurts, but it's not like white hot pain. So it's an interesting one to try and pace. It's an interesting one to try and pace here because on something that is pretty much a bike path, you've got twists, you've got turns, and so longer efforts like this, you're really trying to keep a consistent number, but in a challenging kind of, parkour, I suppose. It brings with it sort of a really interesting challenge from my perspective because with these type of efforts, it's so easy just to shut off and kind of just zone out, but this doesn't allow you to do that. And you can see by my hands moving around the bars that I'm trying to utilize different places on the bike, trying not to get out of the saddle, but use different places on the bike to put power out. It also does undulate up and down, but you do need to be courteous to the other people on this bit of path, because that's what it is. What this really does well, what this path does really well for me, is it forces me to put power out on these long false flat downhills, which is, guys, if you've followed this vlog for any stretch of time, you know that's something that I do struggle with. So this really gave me a good chance to do 40 minutes along this period and allowed me to do that sort of 300 watt area, which works quite well for this. Now, Jesse will use his gravel bike a lot for this, and that will allow him to do higher power efforts, just because the road bike, honestly, you're going to go too fast on this sort of road. Who do we have here, boys and girls? Morning, Flopper. You're a bit warm. Look at this. Look at this setup. Get the guns out. So before I was rudely interrupted by Jesse there, I was riding with the fella from Linfield there, and he was saying that, which was pretty cool, he hadn't actually ridden out in the M7 before watching the videos, which was super. But he did ask, because he's driving out here. So he asked us how we get to the M7. So we basically use three ways. this way, which is Prospect Canal. The other way is Parramatta River Trail to Parramatta Park, and then a convoluted way to the M2, which then links to the M7. And the third secret way is the way that he's just been playing around with, which is...
It's through Canley Vale. You go a bit further south and you cut along all the paths like this. Through Canley, you go, I think Canley Vale.
I'll drop the link below to the route that he uses, but it probably goes this way. Fastest way, Para Park. Most bike pathy quietest, that way. Generally the best, this way, which is Prospect Canal. Canal or canal? Canal. And then in through the M4 into Sydney Olympic Park. Anyway, what were you doing out there? You just exploring today?
Yeah, just riding, just Ks.
Do you even train? Like, I'm pretty serious. I train in my life, so. It's because I got a PC8, you see. I've no idea where I am. That's why I bring him. There's the slice. But we're not attempting to seal that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, she's a bubble. She's a big bubble. This is going to be interesting. Does anyone else do this thing where they're trying to nurse a rear tyre home that you basically just ride out of the saddle the whole way? Impromptu strength session.
We made it. You know what? I'm gonna have a shower and then we'll talk about it. I want to talk about my shoes. Just a little bit of a long-term review on them, okay? Ridden them in some really interesting climates. How are we? Yeah, getting the hang of this so far. So put the new tubeless wheel, or it's really easy to clean the old ones out, I've found. That's the sealant we're running, by the way. Yeah, I've been singing the praises of the M7 lately, and I'm really loving it. But my God, when it is wet, it is prop slop. Like, you don't get the Centennial Park sand, you get the M7 scum. They still are looking super pretty, aren't they? Guys, I just want to do a quick follow-up on these, the Rapha Pro Team shoes. So what about fit, guys? Well, I've overall found them really comfortable. I will say this, for the first month, I found the heel area did bite a little bit into the back of my foot. Fast forward a month after wearing them, and I can safely say that that has not been a problem at all. Now, we can't do a long-term review of these shoes without talking about the fabric and how they are holding up. And as you can see, guys, look, they're well made. They're not falling apart in any way, shape or form. The sole has got its, standard sole scratchings that you would get from any type of riding. But having said all that, I take care of my shoes. I really do. And I think it's important to note that you can't, I wouldn't suggest trashing these shoes. If you have to walk a lot in your road shoes, these are probably not going to be for you. I knew these would be amazing in summer. I was interested to know how they would do in winter. Fabric shoe, super breathable, would my feet just freeze? And my experience so far, guys, has been completely the opposite. As Aaron mentioned on the last vlog that we did a pretty cool ride out, I don't know why I suddenly struggled with that word, out west on the weekend, and it was wet, it was frosty, it was cold. Now, I would normally have run shoe covers in that situation. I just totally forgot. Chris was running late as standard practice. I didn't pay the consequences. Now, my feet did get a little bit cold towards the end of it, but I deserved that. It was damn cold, okay? But no more, no less than a normal pair of shoes. I've ridden these a little bit in the rain. You know that period of time where it's like you've got no water, no water, no water, oh, water. Very similar to cities. That length of time, that amount of moisture on the shoe before it gets into your foot. Guys, I haven't had any problems with them. I really like them. I really love these shoes. I think the biggest statement I can make about these shoes as it stands right now is that, well, they're going to be my shoes this year. You are not going to see me doing other shoe reviews because I'm just going to run these. And like, that's a big statement from me because you know that I'm obsessed with shoes. See? Hardens, Adidas Hardens. I rate them, guys, I rate them. The Hardens and these. There's like a little greyhoundy creature. The other little bit of advice I'd like is trailers. We really need to look into a trailer for the team, just obviously for bikes, spare parts, all that kind of stuff, to go to races with us. You know, a team's worth of bikes, 6 or 7 bikes. I've seen some that are like retrofitted ones from motorcycling teams and that kind of thing. That might be the sort of stuff that we're after. It's certainly an area, if you're selling one yourself, do let me know. I'm a bit clueless with a lot of that stuff, so any help's always valuable. Did they know what to do when they walked past the camera? Alright guys, so I got a couple of hours of evening work to do, and we will see you in the coming days, alright? Pleasure. Talk to you soon. So for those playing along at home, Elizabeth is still very much going to be working from home here at the office, which I'd be really interested, guys, in how you're approaching this. Obviously, Elizabeth is the primary caregiver, but we do share quite a bit of responsibilities at home. But it's interesting now sharing a workspace as well. It has come with some challenges, specifically around just structuring your days, because Elizabeth's in there obviously on a Zoom chat at the moment. And the nature of me doing editing and that kind of stuff requires very specific like atmosphere to a workspace. So yeah, it's an interesting challenge, and I wonder how you guys are sort of coping with that as well, because I know most of you are all in a very similar situation, especially when people are in entirely different industries, that it is quite a challenge. I will say this. No, I won't say that. I was going to say the place is super clean now, but it's probably a bit stereotypical to say that, but it is. So I'm just loving that. Yeah, anyway guys, look, really, thanks very much for watching. Cool. I got nothing else. Gotta go pick the kids up. See ya.